Today we have something really big.
Well, actually, it's classified as a compact car.
This is the latest Honda Civic, which is the best-selling car in Canada 23 years in a row, and that is a big deal.
It is a big deal. So today we're going to find out all about this latest 11th generation Civic and see if it has what it takes to remain on top. The new Civic rides on a new, stiffer platform. That seems to be the trend these days. A stiffer platform just allows everything to work better. It improves the ride and the noise inside. But anyways, this platform is a little bit longer by 20 millimeters. The wheelbase is 35 millimeters longer, meaning more room in the cabin. And the entire vehicle is 5 millimeters wider. And you know what, Cynthia? This is such a big vehicle for me. Because, you know, I've owned more than 3 Honda Civics in my lifetime. That's the only vehicle that I've owned so many of them. And it's because, you know, when I was young, they were inexpensive and they were so reliable. They were bulletproof. And it was almost like a rite of passage. Everyone I knew owned a Honda Civic at one time. And, you know, and that's why they have stood the test of time and they're still here. And, you know, this one is absolutely stunning, really.
Yes, you're right. I think everybody has experienced either owning one or riding in one of the Civic. Previously, you only got LED headlamps on the top trim, and now this model you have LED lights across all the trim levels.
That's right. High and low beam LEDs, you get the LED tail lamps, the daytime running lights, and this is the touring trim here, which is the top of the line, and it even comes with LED fog lamps. Now remember, this is a Canadian spec vehicle. If you don't live in Canada, your trim levels might differ just by a little bit, so make sure to check with your local Honda dealership or your website there.
Another thing they did to the headlights is that they really stretched out the headlights to all the way to the edges and make it look even wider.
Yeah, and another thing that helps with that wide look is this nice long flat hood. It tapers down into this very refined nose they've created, and I love how they've just seamlessly integrated it right into the headlamps. This is probably the best looking grille on any Civic ever.
LX and EX get 16-inch wheels. The Sport and Touring get those 18-inch wheels. All trim levels get keyless access. However, it doesn't work for the rear doors. There's another feature I really like is the capless filler here.
I am a fan of the capless filler as well. It's the small things, you know, you don't have to get your hands all dirty going and turning those knobs or actually forgetting about your cap. As mentioned, you do get LED tail lamps. They are nicely styled. This does not come with a hands-free option for the trunk lid though, unfortunately. I really like that feature, and yeah, they could have actually included it maybe in the Touring, but it does have an assisted opening. So when you open up, you see it's nice and smooth. So plenty of room here. However, this does have 10 liters less cargo room than the actual outgoing model, but it still is plenty of big. Cynthia, let's see the magic travel trunk here, and let's go straight in. No problem. Tons of room. We have my bag here, but just it's impressive that this can actually go straight in. That's very good. Of course, you can go sideways as well. I could probably easily fit 2 and another bag in there. If you need to fold the rear seats down, you do have external levers here, so you don't have to actually go and do it from the top of the seat. Let's take a look inside. Let's talk about the place where you spend the most time inside. 3 letters, W-O-W, wow. It's the first thing that you see when you step in here. You cannot miss the middle section here, this honeycomb air vent. It's eye-catching, it looks really cool, it feels neat, and the actual air vents have these joysticks to them.
Yeah, it's very easy to use.
Super, super easy. The only thing though is that you can actually close off the far left and far right air vents. There's a wheel, but the center ones you can't. You can raise them all the way to the top or bottom, but there's still airflow coming through. So I don't know if that's a deal breaker for a lot of people, but yeah, it's just kind of odd that you can't turn those, but it's so clean, so clean. Cynthia, you spent a lot of time driving this. What did you think of the interior?
It looks very simple. There are very minimal buttons, dials, but everything works so easy in here. Nothing overwhelming for me. Once I sit in here, I know exactly where to go, and visibility is great.
Everything's right at hand, easy to use, and like you said, buttons and dials. They actually still have buttons and dials, but they're tastefully placed. They're really handy. You got a volume dial. I love the dials for the climate control. And you have a back and home button above the volume knob. It's very simple, it's so easy to use. Now speaking of this infotainment system here, this media system, this one comes with a 9-inch because it's the Touring. But standard, you get a 7-inch. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard across the board. However, if you go for the larger screen on the Touring, you get wireless Apple CarPlay.
You get a 7-inch driver's display. On the Touring, you get 10.2 inch.
Yeah, so you get a full digital display. It's configurable. You have wheels on the steering wheel. And what I like about it, first of all, the graphics are really good. You get what your media is playing on the left side and the right side. You have all your safety support system. Another thing that you don't see very often, you get turn-by-turn directions on the right side, but that even applies to your Apple CarPlay. A lot of systems, you get turn-by-turn in your digital cockpits, but it's usually only reserved for the native navigation system, and this works for both native and the Apple CarPlay in that display right in front of you, which is really nice, so you don't have to actually turn your head away. By the way, this 9-inch display also comes with navigation as well.
Yeah, by doing that, they really minimize the driver's distraction.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're stopped at a light here. We do have a electronic parking brake with brake hold. Take your foot off and we just hold here. Another thing with this display, it's kind of unique, is there's a little picture of the vehicle, and it corresponds to, you know, if your signals are on or your brake lights are on, and it actually lights up in there. This Touring gets leather seating surfaces as well, 8-way power adjustable driver's seat, and you also get a power passenger seat. However, unlike the old version, you could actually get up the power seat on lower trim levels. The new one only on the top trim, you know, so they had to cut some corners somewhere to get the price down or keep it down a little bit. But great news though, heated seats are standard on all trim levels. This one gets heated front and rear seats as well, and a heated steering wheel is standard on all trims other than the base model. So the lesson learned here is do not get the base model.
But they do miss air vents on the second row, though.
Yeah, so in the back there is a lot of room. Kids, how's the room back there?
Lots.
Playing shy today. Decent amount of room. There is actually more hip room, more leg room, more shoulder room than the outgoing model. There is a small hump in the middle, so not as comfortable for that middle passenger. And the little one behind me just pointed something out that I missed, is the seat back pockets. This one has one for the behind the passenger seat, but doesn't have a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat. I don't know what's up with that. I've noticed that on a couple vehicles lately. No idea. If you know, leave a comment below. We have a power sunroof on this, and for the first time now you can get a premium Bose sound system. Let's turn it up. There's now no sound right now.
For connectivity, there are 4 USBs, 2 up front, 2 at the back. You do get 3 on the lower trims, and I believe 1 for LX.
Yeah, a single USB. Like, what's up with that?
Again, not to get that base model.
Exactly. They really don't want you to get that base model at all. But yeah, so 3 or 4 USBs. The previous Civic only got 2. So yeah, it's almost 100% improvement. Overall, the most stunning Civic interior ever. You know, maybe not just for Civic alone. That's the interior, just the quality, the fit and finish, just the feel of the knobs and the switches and the door. Even when you close that door, it feels really, really substantial, and it feels like you are honestly driving a way more premium vehicle than a Honda Civic.
I agree. It does bring out a lot of premium feel once you get in here.
Oh, absolutely. Like I would say, like a few years ago, you would be paying. This would be like an Audi A4. Now that's how good it feels and looks in here. Time to put the pedal to the metal. Actually, not really. We got the kids in the back. But let's talk about under the hoods. There are two power plants. There's a 2-liter 4-cylinder, and that's a naturally aspirated engine that puts out 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque. Or there is the more powerful 1.5-liter turbocharged engine that we are driving right now, and that's 180 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque. So that's 3 horsepower and 5 pound-feet more than the outgoing model. That's a lot, eh? But it does make a difference. Those are both matched to CVTs. The turbos at CVT is a little bit different. It's made to optimize the extra power that this has, and both vehicles get better fuel economy than the outgoing model as well, which is great. And you know, it's like we are cruising along the freeway right now. We're doing 95 kilometers an hour, and if I put my foot to the floor, there is a little get up and go. If we want, we can switch that over into sport mode. All of a sudden, it just felt like we just geared down, even though it's a CVT. We do have paddle shifters even, and you can hear, listen. Definitely more responsive in sport mode. Now, this is not a sports car, but if you do want more performance, hey, there will be other variants of the Civic, of course. You know, there is the Type R that'll be coming out, and you know, that's their hottest version for sure. So yeah, just save yourself for one of those. But you know, for everyday driving, this is plenty. Cynthia, what do you think about the ride?
It rides very smooth, but not the most quiet car being into. Also, when I drove it, and then I found the brakes a little bit touchy.
Yeah, they're very powerful brakes, and that's probably what it is. And plus, you're used to driving larger vehicles that yes, you have a little bit more effort, and this feels like a nice nimble little car. So you're putting a little bit more effort into the brake pedal. Oh, we're at a light now. Time to check out some acceleration. Here we go.
Ready, go!
To the floor. Okay. Oh, look at that. Another Civic in front of us, an older one, just cut us off. Now we're getting passed by a Tesla. Great. Thanks, old Civic. All right, so off the line acceleration, nothing blinding, but once we get going, we are doing 80 kilometers, 90 now. Great mid-range pickup though. Yeah, the suspension is definitely not soft at all. The handling, it's very reactive. The steering gets extremely smooth. Like if you're doing a long sweeping corner, the amount of input you have to do to correct is almost none. So it's very, very precise, and I really like that. So overall, it's a great handling car. Could it use more power? Always use more power, but hey, if you want more, once again, wait for those sportier versions to come out. All Civics come standard with Honda sensing, so that gives you your lane keep assist, blind spot warning, adaptive cruise control with traffic jam assist. All of that comes standard, all trim levels.
For fuel economy, you get 7.6 for the city, 6.1 for the highway, and 6.9 for combined, which is better than the old previous model.
And for those in the miles per gallon world, I will leave those right under here. With the stiffer platform, the ride is very predictable. You can feel pretty well everything. We're going over some speed bumps, some manhole covers here, and it is definitely not a plush ride by any means. So if you're looking for something a little bit softer, this is not going to be it, but it does give you a lot of good feedback, and it's very rewarding. Cynthia, what are your final thoughts on this new Civic?
I think they did a great job, and I do like the simplicity of the design, and then all the easy use of the features such as the volume control, climate control, great visibility, and lots of room. I really enjoyed it.
They put a lot of thought into the design of the interior and how everything is laid out. You're absolutely right. And you know, it's just like, even when you first get in and you've never been into it, it just feels natural where everything is placed. Now, I really think that, you know, this is a real premium vehicle. And then the style, it's got a great style. Look at the wheels. These are hot looking wheels. And this is a Honda Civic, man. You know, I really wish that when I was growing up, I had a Civic like this. No, no, it was a hand-me-down, but you know what? It was so reliable, and they just never ever die. There are a few things that we wish they would include in this vehicle, especially being the top model.
Yeah, for example, I would like to have hand-free trunk opening, and I always want to have that keyless access for the back door.
Yeah, you know, it's great that all Civics come with a proximity key, standard across the board, but it only works for the front doors. You know, they could have been a leader and actually included it on the rear doors, at least for the top trim once again.
Yes. Now, do you think they can continue with a streak?
23 years in a row, I'm gonna bet my money 24, no problem. This thing is just, it seems like it's so far above the competition right now, this new Civic, you know. As MC Hammer once said, can't touch this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, Cynthia, help me out. Oh, you got moves.
Yeah. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like button.
Thumbs up. Boom, 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 boom. I'm not a very good dancer.
I'm twisting my shoe.